throughout the years, like the years since, nothing like that ever happened again. But that was my very first, that was my first impression, right?
I really think you need to make better life choices.
So with you kind of like stealthing it across the parking lot, that was probably one of the best moments I've ever seen.
I got really scared really, really quickly.
We need to have like film of this kinds of shit going on so that we can like play it while we're doing whatever. So just to back up real quick, guys, this guy came here for like the first time to be on the studio, and he gets out of the car and we're all looking out the window all fucking with him. And he gets out of his car and he just starts running through the parking lot with his hood over. Like, this is a public parking lot where people can look out at any time and see what the hell is going on. And he's just running through the parking lot, dodging behind cars and like getting on the phone like super stealth. Some guy looks out the window and is like,
literally, just like, what's going on here? And I was like, all right, I should probably
act like a normal human now.
It's the world we live in, man.
Oh, dude, I've had so many like close calls for like stupid reasons. Like, it just seems to like happen to me that like I'm like, yeah, of course I can do this stuff. Oh, right, we live in the place where the news makes everybody look out for the rapists and everybody else who's out here. So then you can't do anything like truly fun. Yeah. It's like everywhere you go is trespassing. Everywhere that you go is like for the motorcycle shit that I do, I can't go anywhere that's like legal.
You have to find an open parking lot, really, right?
Dude, some guy just got shot. Like, I kid you not, there's a video, I think he got shot in the foot. My buddies are all sharing it on Instagram. It was in Boston, Massachusetts. I think it was last night, actually, this happened. So, you know, they take to the streets a lot. And, like, these street rides... Okay, so here's the thing. Yes, I'm into the scene. Yes, I think most of the scene is fucking nuts, okay? And it's the thing with the scene... I get beat up. The thing with the scene is that, like, there's this real badass kind of, like, allure to come into the scene of, like, you know, the motorcycle stunts and, like, the crazy shit and the fucking parties. Like, the stories, like, I can tell you about some of these nights hanging out with these guys, like, are insanity. And it's super, you know what it is? It's like, it's probably like LSD. It's so fucking interesting that you want to try it, and then you try it and you're like, I don't belong here. I don't belong here right now.
I want to go home.
I want to go home. Click the fucking wheels. I want to go home. So I guess that there was like, and this is all I gather from the small amount that I watched, I guess that there was this massive group of guys who got together to ride. I mean, they have, you know, what's called the Boston Massacre ride. There is the Doyle ride. There's a whole bunch of different kinds of rides that like people go on and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And it's all across the country. I mean, you've got your stuff in Cali, you have stuff in Texas, there's Florida, there's the scene is all across the country. I mean, make no mistake. But the thing is that like when you get into these like groups, it deteriorates really fast into this just fucking crazy ass free for all that kind of goes on, but everybody calls each other brother and we'll all help you out. Oh, the cops are here. Peace. Yeah. Like, so I guess like, and it's some of the wildest footage I've actually ever seen of any people who I actually somewhat know or somewhat associated with, like in the scene. And dude, like the cops are closing. It's on a highway. And, like, the lanes of traffic are dead stopped. There's cops in the front, there's cops in the back, there's cops on the other side of the highway, on the front and the back. I am literally talking, like 20, 30, I'm not exaggerating at all, 20, 30 officers' cars, stadies, common cops, like, the whole bit, like, lights are going, dude, people are scattering all over. Well, you're boxed in, because you can't go that way, you can't go this way.
Right.
And so, like, you've got the Jersey barrier, so they're trying to lift the bikes and throw the bikes over the side of the fucking barriers and stuff, like, they're trying to lift the quads. One guy's on a moped, he's got the GoPro the whole time, this is the footage that I saw. He's, like, lifting the bike over and throws it on the other side, and then, like, he goes to go, but there's cops on that side, so he lifts it off and goes the other way on the Jersey barrier. I'm just like, that's so interesting. But I don't know if I want to be there.
I'd love to see it. But from a distance.
From a distance, this all looks really cool. But up close, this is not so cool. Like, have you, like, I'm gonna tell some stories, like, about some of the crazier shit that's going on a little bit. Like, have you ever had, like, some nights where you sit back once you get home and you're like, how did I survive that? Have you ever had those nights?
I've never...
You can't nod in the corner without giving the story.
Come on, Terrible Terry.
Terrible Terry, terrible tool Terry, toilet killing Terry over here. Fucking broke both my toilets, by the way. That's a true story.
Serious?
He broke them both in the same day.
By pooping in them.
By taking a shit in the toilet. He clogged the upstairs toilet. No, he broke the upstairs toilet. Then he went down and he clogged the downstairs toilet. I went downstairs, there's shit flowing in the toilet. I'm like, you don't even check? Like, literally, I go downstairs, I'm like, dude, like, is this what you do at, like, your girlfriend's house? Like, oh, I'm just gonna flush now. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. Hopefully she's still turned on after she sees my lie.
Jesus Christ.
It's terrible. That's
It might work for him.
What?
It might work.
That's
for
why
him.
we're gonna call this podcast Everything Went to Shit. That's why we're gonna call this podcast. Ow! So anyways, yeah, have you ever had a night like that where you just wonder how you survived it?
Never had a night like that. Because
I've had
I don't do
at
anything
least
crazy.
10. Oh god, you're not even living. See, he's nodding. You're not even living. And he's fucking oh god, I forgot what I was gonna say. He's conservative. He's conservative and he's nodding. You have to live more. You know what we do? We'll just throw you off a building, and you can say you live.
Oh yeah, yeah, totally. Let's just go out to the smallest. Let's do a 3-story building. Let's just.
We'll just come call you off.
Because I mean, what's the worst that could happen? A couple broken legs.
Yeah, not bad. Yeah, you're fine. Now you have a story,
Right.
dude. No good stories start with, well, I was being really conservative, and I decided not to take the chance. Those stories suck. They make for a safe life, but those stories suck. You've never done anything crazy.
I'd love broken legs are like on my to-do list, and then arthritis for the rest of my life in my knees is like the second. Once I get the broken legs out of the way, I think arthritis is the next go-to. Like that's something that I really, really want. So yeah, if we could like right after this, like go to a 3-story building, I'll definitely try to land on my feet. That way,
I'm just trying to swallow my tea the whole
body.
time. Nice. It's a good bucket list.
Jeez,
It's a great bucket list. That's like, this is a horrible story. This is an old story. But there was some guy who, like, got his father's business passed to him, which was for, like, helicopter, to, like, give people tours with the helicopter.
Yeah.
I forgot where it was. Like, I'm kind of
Niagara. We'll just make up Niagara Falls.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was I think it was New York.
I'll fill in the blanks.
Okay, cool. This is like ad-libs. So he inherits his father's business. His father's business has been in business for some long period of time. No problems, not a single issue. First week or two in business, he's supposed to have a couple come on and to give them a tour. So what ends up happening is while this couple comes on, well, I'm sorry, the couple doesn't show up. The husband does. Right?
Alright. His name is Fred, by the way.
Sure, his name is Fred.
For everyone who's listening.
Yep,
His name's Fred.
name's Fred. And so Fred shows up. And so you're just going to change the story as we go. Okay.
Well,
So
I'm just throwing it in there.
No, that's
Just
good.
giving you
That's good.
Little
Just the tip,
details.
just throw it in. So, so Fred shows up and gets in the helicopter, and they take me up, right? So
Take Fred up or take you
Fred
up?
up.
Oh, okay.
Take Fred up.
All right.
Yeah, Fred.
Just making sure.
Yeah, no, we want to get the facts straight for the people listening. So take Fred up, and you know, he's showing him things, whatever, you know, check out this, check out that, and then Fred just undoes his fucking seatbelt for the thing. He's like, why are you taking that off? Why are you taking that off?
Yeah, Fred, put that back on.
Fred, put that back on. Fred's like, fuck you, bitch! He like opens up the side of the door. Why are you opening the door? He just jumps. He just jumps. So, come to find out, Fred has terminal cancer. So Fred decides for his final thing that he's gonna do, he's gonna fucking go out of there and fucking take himself out like that. Like
Go
I
out
don't
with the bang, I guess.
I don't know why
It's not for everyone.
pills weren't good enough, drinking yourself to death was. I don't know, you know. go down the highway, not across the wrist. Like, I don't know why nothing was good enough for Fred, but he wanted to jump. So, and a part of me admires this guy. Like, because if you think about it, like, I don't want to go out in a fucking bed. I'll just jump like the Grand Canyon without a chute. You know what I mean? Like, I'll just fucking go off on some, like, bike ride and just take a jump.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
But it's not the end of the story.
All right.
Here's the thing.
I think I might be jumping ahead.
He didn't die.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I was like, what if he just jumps out and just severely hurts himself? And then he has to live with it.
He did.
Oh,
It's like he's
goodness.
falling on the way down, being like, "This is gonna be the last few seconds of pain.
This is great.
This is worse."
There's so much more pain.
I saw this skit from Bill Burr. I'm totally stealing from him right now. I love him. But yeah. So
Yes, I have heard that.
yeah. So basically, this
Huge
guy
fan
is
of Bill
in
Burr, by the way.
horrible fucking pain. Jumps out of this helicopter to kill himself. Lands in the water. Fucking like swan dives, just bam, right in the water. Probably did a belly flop and like lives. And then he dies later at the hospital. It's like, but you're talking about your bucket list. You want to get your broken legs, then you want to get your arthritis, then you want to linger a little bit and die.
What
Like,
happened to Jacob, though?
what?
Jacob's the pilot. What happened to him?
I probably got treated for like some form of like, I don't know, some issue after that. Like, Dad, I can't handle the business.
Can't do it.
Something went wrong.
I can't do it. He's got the shakes for the rest of his life.
You have to have done something crazy though. Something crazy.
I mean,
Because if I start sharing my stories on here, like, you gotta have something.
I'm a pretty laid back
Show me yours,
kid.
I'll show you mine.
I'm a pretty laid back kid. I wasn't really like
We gotta
one
get
to kinda
this kid on like a
defy-
fuking coke binge or something.
No, I don't think that would be the
You want me to go?
right thing to do. I really don't.
You want me to go get it?
Oh my goodness.
Oh
Yeah,
no,
go get our performance enhancing drugs.
Oh, you were kidding. I didn't even know. Alright.
But thank you for being prepared.
Do I don't.
Bye, John.
Just kidding, by the way, for everyone at home.
Oh, it's on the wrong pipe.
We only do coke on the weekends, not on the podcast.
We only do what?
Coke on the weekends.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we're gonna have a drunken I can't even talk, I'm breathing tea. Oh my god, we're gonna have to edit the fuck out of this video.
We?
You're gonna have to edit this so much.
This is like the frat
I can
boy.
help you. What do you do? What do you use for editing software?
Honestly, Sony Vegas for now.
This is like the frat
Yes,
boy
let's nerd
version
it up.
of the last
Can we
podcast.
say any of this on like?
You
can we say so?
Yeah, you could, dude. You
You
could
can just say whatever the fuck
could
you,
do
want.
whatever
I don't
the fuck
make
you
money
want.
off this shit.
I didn't know.
It's kind of just like, trying to be.
Dude, this is like, there's no real rules when it comes
Yeah,
to
there's
like
no
what
rhyme
I'm
or
doing
reason.
here. Like,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing, and I'm gonna be real for a second, because this podcast, like, I know this one's like pretty goofy, and we're gonna get into some like wild ass fucking stories. The truth of the matter, I don't live a serious life. Like, I do, but I don't. There's two sides to me. There's two sides to everybody, and I think the problem in our society is we are constantly, utterly, and totally focused upon giving an image, giving a pristine look upon who we are. Did you fuck up the microphone?
I don't know.
John's good.
I'm just leaning really close.
Yo,
I
no,
think.
John's doing a great job.
Okay, Josh, you're fucking it up, but John's doing good. So the thing is that, like, we
More
live
like John.
with such a visage of which we're trying to like show to everybody, and the problem is that is not who we are. Like, we're not even two different people. We are so many different personalities. Like, for example, when I hang out with you, I laugh my ass off. When I hang out with him, I talk about entrepreneurial activities and like what it is that we're trying to build. When I hang out with him, I get my ass kicked.
I try not to get sandwiched.
Yeah, dude, he like broke my back earlier. But the point is that when you hang out with different people, you have different personalities. Why is that? Does that mean that it's the other person drawing it on you? Does that mean that that's their energy? Does that mean that you are all those people? You just need the catalytic event of which to pull that out of you. That's what I think it is. So here's my point with this podcast. Yes, a lot of my life is based upon becoming successful. Yes, a huge part of my life is about making money and fucking going balls to the wall, being driven and making shit happen. That is probably the largest part of my life. But I will tell you that whole idiom about, all work and no play makes whoever the fuck his name was a dull boy. Well, that shit's mad ass true. Because, dude, I have, not enjoyed my life for a long time. I need to have fun. Our society needs to have fun. And so, what I'm getting at with all this kinds of stuff is that this podcast, dude, some people might watch this, watch the beginning and be like, oh, fuck, I thought he was all about success. Oh, I won't listen to him no more. Mm-hmm. And, then people are going to watch it and be like, oh, he's funny as fuck. We're gonna watch this guy. And you're going to have everything in between. And you're going to have people who pick and choose what they want from me. But the point of the fact is that, the idea behind this podcast is for me to actually get my personality out there and have interesting people on here from all different kinds of walks of life, share the good and the bad, whether it's about, it's all the journey of life. Mm-hmm. All life is a series of experiences, right? So why would I come on here and only talk about specifically, let me tell you about how I became successful, which I'm not, right? I'm just on my way.
Yeah.
Why would I come on here and tell you all about how to have a good relationship, how to, how to get on a schedule, how to be regimented, how to do this, how to do that? Yeah, that's going to have an audience, sure. But that's not all I am. And that's not all you are, him or him, right? So the whole concept behind this is just to have a real forum of which to just get ideas across, whether they're serious, not, what, it doesn't matter. This is just an open forum. So say whatever the fuck you want and talk about whatever you want. And if there's anything bad, he will edit it out.
No, we will. Right? We all will.
Yeah, it's just,
we all.
He's the content man. We make the content and then we throw it at him and just be like, this is all broken. Can you fix this?
This is the worst thing that we've ever produced.
Make
You
it
need
look
to do
good.
something. Just make it a little bit better. Just turn it up a little. But I think that's a good point in that everyone has a different version of success. Everyone has a different version of life. Everyone has a different version of happiness. My happiness is totally different from yours. Or it could be the same. Who knows? We don't know until we actually talk about it.
Yeah.
Success is like the age-old tale of, oh, what's success mean to you? It's
Yeah.
a bunch of money and 7 million cars and a
girl with a nice ass.
Yeah.
That's what my success is.
It's totally
That'll
different.
fulfill me.
Yeah.
When I slap cheeks, I feel fulfilled.
Yeah, it's totally different than anything else that I want to be successful for. I don't want to be in the biggest of mansions or the biggest of whatever, I just want to be able to be happy. And
My version of success is literally what I'm working on building, and literally my version of success is just learning to be me without boundaries.
Yeah.
That is my version.
Yeah.
And it's just that's why, I sat and pondered for so long, what did I want this channel to be? If you go back through the amount of videos that I have in here and stuff, I have 90 something videos, and it's everything from me almost coming across on a tough guy day talking about some real ass shit to me having trouble and having a fucking panic attack at night. And then it was well, let me give success tips. And then it was well, I also want to share some of the crazy stuff that goes on in my life, but how do I share the crazier shit that goes on in my life? How do I share the night I almost got, the multiple nights I almost got shot? How do I share that? Just start a video and hey guys, what's going on? Today is story time. And I'm going to tell you about one of the wilder nights of my life. How do I start that out? But having an open forum and being able to speak with you about it brings that out. But the thing is that for anybody who's tuning in here just to get success tips, yeah, there's going to be success tips on here. Yeah, I'm hell-bent on becoming successful, sure. But there's so much more to life than money and wealth, which is not money. It's a little different.
totally different.
And, relationships. There's so much more than all that kinds of stuff. There's what did you really want to leave? What are you good with being a guy who just signs checks in the bank? Are you good with that? Okay, fine. If that's your version, dude, do that all day long. But do you want to travel to John's shirt? What's depicted on John's shirt? I mean, do you want to go to the deepest rainforest? Yeah, no, that's your camera.
That one?
There's no camera over there.
Oh, there.
That one. So don't have him smoke before he comes on.
I'm not. All right, for For the record.
For the record, John doesn't do drugs.
I don't do drugs. I don't drink.
And this is why.
This is
Vodka.
no.
Anyways, my whole fucking point as I go in circles here is just, this is just to be real. That's
Yeah.
all this is.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just say whatever you want. That's a long way of saying say whatever you want.
So my biggest, for the viewers out there, my biggest gripe with Josh is that he hasn't traveled as much as he should have.
Yep.
Or he should.
Mhm.
I think he needs to take a couple more vacations this year and really,
Actually, go on vacation.
actually go on
Mhm.
vacation.
You're right.
So I think that's a goal that I want to task you with this year. So in the next 365, that's the international symbol for
A circle?
the 360.
That would be a circle that you just drew. I mean, it's a little ovalish, but that's a circle.
It was a perfect circle. What are you talking?
See, here's the thing about like me and traveling. I have always wanted to travel. I've always wanted to see things. I've always, when I watch a movie and I see something really cool, I'm like, yo, I want to go there. But, you know, growing up, didn't have a lot of money, you know, that whole story and such. Growing up, didn't have a lot of money, and then seeing the difficulties that my parents went through and like everything that like took place, and like seeing, you know, the hardships and some of the stuff that like helped to damage the relationship and such, and you know, seeing people struggle and seeing people not have enough and constant lack. Like I was always like I had a good childhood for the most part, like my younger years, but there was always a lack, and let me explain to you what I mean by lack, because the fact that my father wasn't around as much as like it would have been super nice to have him around caused there to be some form of a lack, because he was out there getting it, right? So he was working 80, 100-hour weeks and such, and like, did he still spend time with me? Yes. Did we go for bicycle rides? Did we, you know, build stuff together? Did we do Boy Scouts? Yeah, we did do things. I did have a good childhood, but there was always this like lingering kind of like pressure, you know, some way, shape, oh, we can't afford that, or oh, that's too expensive, you know, that kinds of stuff. And then as time went on and there were other factors that came into play, there was a lot that kind of just kept ingraining in me, like there's not enough money, there's not enough whatever, don't spend your money on this, save your money, you know, and it just became such a powerful driving force in my life that instead of traveling, instead of having like a blast and having some experiences and memories that other people have my age, I went to work, right? I went to work and I started trying like to just blow it out of the way. I had 4 jobs at one time. Like I would work from morning till night, weekends, holidays, like it didn't matter. And of course I'm not going on vacation during this time because I'm hustling. But what was I making? Minimum wage, because I was young at the time. But it was in me to work like that. And then from there, you know, there's a lot of factors that led to it and such, but I ended up kicked out of my house, and now I have nowhere to go, right? And I only have, you know, a few $1,000s saved up and stuff. I have nowhere to go, so now I'm crashing on my buddy's couch. And then I built a business from my buddy's couch into being able to sustain me while I was living in an apartment complex out of the garage. Okay, now I've got that. I got that, my girl, at least at the time I was dating somebody. And I'm like, okay, but again, lack. There was always lack. We didn't have enough. The business wasn't supporting enough. We couldn't go anywhere. So I kept building that, and then I took over a building. Right? Eventually, this all led to me taking over a 3-story building and building a business through it that was so duct taped and bubblegum put together that there was no money. It was always, there was never enough fucking money.
Right. Once you get to that next step, you're spending more, and you're doing more.
Especially if you're stupid and you finally have a few bucks in your pocket and you buy a car and try to turn it into a drag racing car, but you know, who does that? And you know, drop like definitely didn't drop 19 grand just turning. I call this car Satan's car. Okay, this car was the worst money pit piece of shit Camaro that I have ever had. There's a roll cage in it.
Is it
like,
that one? right out there?
No.
Oh.
No,
I
literally
thought
I had that one at the same time as that car. But this other car, roll cage, nitrous kit, sway bars, freaking drag radial tires, T56 or something like that, Tremec transmission, racing seats. Like, it didn't even have a horn. The whole thing was gutted. Like, there was so much they put in there. I'm looking at motors to put in. And I run out of money. Of course I run out of money. Why? Because lack.
Yeah,
right?
Because you're just dumping.
Dumping,
Yeah.
right? Which was, Terry's really good at that too. So basically the point is that I did that all throughout my 20s, and then the business fucking failed. It went down. I lost everything. I almost got evicted from the place. I would have gotten evicted if I stayed another 2 days. Like, I got evicted from the place that I'm living. The business itself went down. I got backstabbed by people of who I truly had trusted in said business. And I ended up living on a fucking porch up until 7 or 8 months ago.
And here we are.
That's why I never went on vacation. And that, like, the thing is, like, that sounds like a crazy story and stuff, but that's actually my life. Like,
Yeah.
that's
real.
all I've had is lack. You know what I mean? So it's like, the goal to go on vacation sounds good to me.
Yeah. Well, now you're in a better position, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kama Sutra, different positions.
Right. So you're in a different position. So now
Throw my
it's
tea
in
bag
the
at
next. Almost.
Oh, you just teabagged Terry. That was funny.
Totally off the rails.
Yeah,
Totally off the rails, man. Whatever you. Well, no, I had to get rid of the tea bag.
Terry's contemplating his move now.
Drink some kombucha. Please don't tackle me through the table.
Just don't fuck my shit up.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
You,
All right. So
you
now.
can take out the table, just not the cameras.
Yeah. Leave the cameras. So what were you saying?
I don't. You're in a different position now. You're in
Yeah.
a totally different place, in not only in your life, like emotionally, but like in a different place physically and like monetarily too.
Right.
So, I think in the next 365 days, ready?
Yeah. Oh, there's that circle. He's so good at that.
That you can definitely be able to go somewhere, whether it's in state, out of the country.
Fucking state.
You know?
Dude, there's nothing to do here.
Right.
Like-
So go somewhere where there is something. My always go to is like get out of the country if you want to experience something or experience something different.
Mhm.
We can always go around within our states and yes, find something different culturally.
I want to go to Hawaii. That's where I want to go.
That would be awesome.
It would be awesome.
Because it's
$10,000 later, awesome.
Seriously, it is expensive to go there.
I got a friend of mine. I just want to cut in super quick
Yeah.
because I'm an asshole. I got a friend of mine who just literally dropped every single thing that she owns, moved to Hawaii, lives in a tent. It's called
amazing.
woofing. Like, I guess you go on woofing.org or something like that if you want to get out of the society and you
Woof?
I don't know, maybe it's an acronym, but you look up organic farms and you literally live on the farm for like working 2 hours a day. She works 2 hours a day for 5 days a week. That's it. She lives there for free. She lives in a tent and she's like just walking along the island for the whole rest of her time.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so go ahead, sorry.
No, that's something that I think that everyone should experience. I mean, you can't really experience someone's life or someone's culture or whatever until you walk a mile in their shoes, right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
you got to get out and you got to see some things before you can actually take it all in.
Right, not just the tip. You want to take the whole thing. So, in terms of like this whole like show, like the whole point of this show is to show the good, the bad, and the everything. You know what I mean? And it's like that's why I'm totally cool with like just having a fun one too on here. Especially our conversation the other night, like about some of like the craziest times I've had. Like, so there's this crew that I used to run. It wasn't quite a motorcycle stunt team. It was like Land of the Misfits, but we're gonna try to make this shit happen. So I got this whole crew together, and I was kind of like their like unassumptive leader or whatever, right? So I always made the plans for like what shows we were gonna go to and like all the kind of stuff we were gonna do. I'm gonna have to change the names of all these guys.
I'll change it for you.
So there was one of the kids who we used to. This was only really a few years ago too. we used to party at his house. The house parties at his house were just, they were insane. They were insane. So there was...
Is his name Nathanielson?
No, but out of this crew, there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It was a 5-person crew, right? So it was me and them 4. So one of them had this house that we used to like throw these parties at. And like you would get to the house and it was no holds barred. I don't know how the hell this all came together, but somehow he was given this house, and he paid rent, but it was a no holds barred. Like, we're putting holes in the walls tonight while we're fucking going nuts. We're kicking the speakers over. Like, it was insanity. And
I'm imagining fire out of one window.
We would not out of the window, but we would light stuff on fire. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I have some footage from this house of like going there, and it's like we would party there. I think it was like every Friday night. We would hit Draft House, and it's so funny because I didn't even drink at the time, but we would hit Draft House, like all go riding and stuff. They all had to back their bikes in because they're all illegal. They're all like not even registered or whatever. So there's no.
Why would they be?
I don't. They all had fake plates. Like
that makes sense.
They would like. Sometimes they would like take the.
I'm just gonna take the plates off and take them with me.
Well,
just in case.
They would have flipper plates, like because like one of them like was kind of legal, but it was like a flipper plate. You just like pop it up and like no one's gonna see it. You're not stopping for the cops anyway, right? So. So then you know they would like pop off a fake plate from like a total bike and just throw it out. Like it was just whatever. So we'd all back in to Draft House. I'm the only legally registered like vehicle, and then like we would all basically kind of party at Draft House and stuff, and like just have a good time, shoot some pool, do this. Everybody's drunk. Then we go drunk driving. Like this is this is what we're doing, and it's like.
These are like the reasons why I don't drink. Everything that you're saying right now.
Then we go drunk driving. Like it's an activity.
Yeah.
We're doing some activity.
Not a crime.
Yeah.
Let's go drunk driving. So here's the thing. Like I'm never listen. Let me get one thing straight about my stories. I'm not condoning the activities of which I'm going to get into on this show today, but I am saying this is what happened. Okay?
Past tense. This is all
past tense, right?
This is past Josh.
This is past
future Josh.
This is, who knows what happens. You know, there's no promises sometimes. But, so anyways, you know, we'd all like get all lit up and stuff, and we all go like ride and stuff. And like we had a really good thing going at one time. We had a really good thing going.
I could hear Terry's voice, and he said bye. I like that.
Yeah. So, and I'll tell you, this crew had legs. Like, we were funny. We had people filming. I would just hand people a camera and be like, yo, I'm going to go punch... Oh, I almost said his name. I'm going to punch John. I'll call him John. I'm going to punch John in the face. Just film this. Like, it was just... We were just all over. We were wild. It was all over the place and stuff. Like, stuff was always getting broken.
He can't stop laughing because I waved at him.
Stuff was always getting broken. Tires were always getting, like, burned off. Like, we would have, like, a dirt bike in the kitchen, right? And, like, doing, like, a burnout in the kitchen.
What?
Like, dude, it was awesome.
That's crazy.
So, dude, this is not the crazy part of the story. I'm just painting you a picture of the kinds of people I'm talking about that I'm hanging out with.
Yeah, aren't dirt bikes supposed to be on dirt and not in kitchens?
Oh my god, that's
like the whole
that's
premise.
exactly where they're supposed to be, because, you know, what? You gotta give something to, like, clean. So anyways, I'm just trying to paint a scene. So, John, God, I just want to use their real names because it's so easier to keep track. But the point is that... What's that?
Call this one Nathaniel.
Yeah, Nathaniel.
Well,
I feel like I gotta have a
was
cheat
the
sheet
real-
in front of me, like whose name was what. It's definitely not incriminating anything.
Well, you can call them all Nathaniel.
They were all Nathan. All of them were Nathan. So
We went from Nathanielson to Nathaniel to Nathan. Which one is it? That way I don't get confused.
So
Nathan.
we would all go out, and we had a great thing going, but it was always on the cusp of, like, we're gonna get arrested tonight. We're gonna get arrested today. Like, it was always one of them's dealing drugs out of the back of the bike. So, like, we would get to a place and, like, he would have arranged just for people to know that we were there. So he's, like, popping off the back of the bike and, like, divvying out fucking drugs and shit, and like, you know, that's how he made his money. Another one's like stealing fucking pills from the pharmacy he works at and like peddling those on the side. Like me, I owned a business at this time. I was the like only like legitimate one in this like whole crew, and like it just it was insanity. And but the thing was, like, we had a really good thing going. We vibed really well. We had great times. Like, we did stuff. Like, the cool thing about this crew, it was the original One Life crew that I used to run. Mm-hmm. The cool thing about the One Life crew was that we were actually doing stuff. Yes, was there a lot of illegal activities? Sure. But we were actually doing stuff. We were actually living life to the fullest. Did I partake in the drugs? Nope. Wasn't me. Never was. I was never about drugs. Did I, was I speeding? Was I pulling wheelies on the highway? Was I doing all types of crazy shit like that? Were we lighting stuff on fire and fucking jumping over it and blowing stuff up and stuff? Sure. Yeah. I took part in all that stuff. But it's like we would go like cliff jumping. We would go to the bars. We would go out and like we'd be driving down the highway throwing things at each other like out of the cars. Like I took a big thing of strawberries and like cracked eggs into the strawberries and like friggin' I forgot what else I threw into this like concoction. I like threw it onto his window while like the other guy was following me. Like we'd have trucks and cars and bikes and stuff and like all this kind of stuff. And like this is why I had no money, because I was fucking retarded. So
just squandering it.
Oh yeah, dude. And like, we'd get to wherever we were, and then like there'd be like a bottle of Powerade or something. And like, John would get out. Me and John were the closest. All right, I'll keep his name John. Me and him were the closest. Oh yeah, sure. You're John too. You're actually John. We were the closest kind of for a while until I realized John was an absolute psycho who either needs to be put down or put in jail. And he's still that way to this day. He actually just got out of prison, which is a great time for me to be making this video.
Yeah, so we may need to edit this out.
Not really. I'm not.
What's with the fucking we?
Anyways, so like he'd have like a bottle of Powerade, and like they'd pull up behind us. We're getting to where we're going to be, and like I just have the camera like kind of like chilling like this, and like he'd get there and just throw all the Powerade into their vehicle, like just all of like, dude, we were just trashing each other's stuff every day. I'm telling you, it could have been an MTV show, and I tried to turn it into that. I have so much footage from this time in my life, and I've never put any of it up because I'm like, I will never be able to have a profession.
Yeah, there's no career after that. You do that for the rest of your life. You're literally Johnny Knoxville.
Yeah, it's like Johnny Knoxville is going to be a cashier at a bank. That's where I'm going to be. So, anyways, I painted the picture. That's basically what it is. And of course, when we'd have the parties, there would always be a fucking fight. Like, the problem with that scene, and I still like the scene, I still like hang out with like people in that scene and stuff, but the problem with the scene is the amount of drama, the sheer amount of bullshit and lies and manipulation and issues with the cops and like lawyers and this, that, like the amount of shit that's going on. Like, you'd have a girl show up at the party with her boyfriend and start getting with one of the crew members. And then the boyfriend turns the corner. Like, that's not good. That's really bad, right? So you'd have that kinds of stuff going on. And then the problem was that the crew itself started infighting, right? Like, they started fucking going at each other and stuff. And like, I'll never forget, one of them ran around the house. They're like, Josh, you need to get to the front of the house now. I'm sitting back there, like, talking with somebody, like, just hanging out. I think it was, like, having a beer or whatever. Like, I got my feet up at the fire, and, like, there's people all around. I'm like,
hey, you're having a good time.
I'm like, why? He's like, dude, fucking... I can't say their names. He's like, dude, Tom just put John's head through the fucking window. I'm like, what? Like, please? So, and it wasn't even what. It was like, again. Like, it was literally that common for them to even be going at. You go around the front of the house, there's a smashed, like, freaking, there's a smashed car window. John's, like, getting the shit beat out of him on top of the car. Like, the other one's going at him and stuff. Someone's trying to pull him off. Some chick's screaming and, like, I loved it. I loved it.
Just drew to the flame.
It was just, and like, that's the thing. It's like, I loved every minute of it because it was so interesting and it's so wild. And I think that's what people don't understand, because they're always like, why would anybody like this kind of like shit? Like, everything's da-da-da. No, it's interesting, and most people's lives are fucking boring. That's why it's interesting. So anyways, then a girl dies. Legit. What? Girl dies from a heroin overdose in the bedroom. Yep.
Wow.
That, like, I'm not saying the crew wasn't coming apart before that, because, like, as time went on, what had really happened was that the money ran out. It literally, like, we were paying to put gas in some of the guys' like bikes. Mm-hmm. So like, we had the main crew, and then there were like kind of like stragglers that would kind of like show up and stuff. Like, I think the biggest we ever went riding with was like, I don't know, 20, 25 people or something like that.
It's a good amount of people.
Yeah, but we're putting money in like your gas tank because you're so broke because you ran out of pills to sell, and now you're strung out because you don't have your drugs and you're fighting with this person. Dude, the fucking house got raided at one point. I wasn't there that night, but the cops were following the kid and keeping tabs on him, who was doing the dealing out of the freaking motorcycle, and they raided the house. They raided, dude. They raided that house. The one day there was nothing in there. Like, and see, that's where the fun goes away, because I don't have anything to do with the drugs. I had nothing to do with it.
Right.
I'm an advocate for basically being against. Like, I make jokes like, oh yeah, you need some fucking, coke. I'm like, no, I'm an advocate for staying away from like all that kinds of stuff. But it's like, it's rampant in the scene. Like, I would have gone down just like everybody else in that house, and and that's where that like the tearing is, because it's like there's some people who are totally and utterly like by the book, right? And they live a super safe life. The problem is that the lives they live are not very exciting. Then you have the far, far, far extreme on the other side, where like you have like the wild, wild west going on, where like if somebody crosses that person, they will literally just kill them, like their psychopathic status, right? So somewhere in between is like, and I think I'm more towards like the conservative side, but like somewhere in between, like I kind of like flutter around. So the issue with this was like, I'm sitting there, I'm like, dude, like I could have like gone down for a long fucking time. Like if they had raided this house and I was in the house and all the shit that typically is stockpiled in the back room was here. And anyways, so basically it was just wild. Like we'd be going out there. When I say like lighting stuff on fire, I mean it would just be like bonfires of random shit is just burning in the backyard of this house. We'd just be smashing bottles into the ground and then wrestling on the glass. Like, oh, it was
glass?
It was horrible. I have videos of
glass.
Yeah, I have a video of me getting my eardrum blown out because my head got slammed so hard on the pavement while we were wrestling after I went through a table and there's glass all over the ground. I have a video of that.
Oh my god.
I literally, dude, I got my ass kicked. This is a horrible podcast. It's making it sound like I'm a bitch. But like,
so the table had the glass in it.
Well, the table was being used for beer pong at one point, and then I got thrown through the table.
Okay.
But it was a friendly throw. I wasn't in a fight. We were just fucking around, and I got picked up and thrown through this table. Which that part is not
friendly.
Totally. Dude, I'm just being honest about what my life was. Like,
I'm just being real.
Yeah, just being a
He's my boy.
being real, bro. Yeah, no. So I was getting thrown all over. There's a stop sign at one point that like cut my side because we had a stop sign back there. There's like cones back there. There's motorcycles in the background. There's like guys, girls, whatever. Like there's like a speaker. Like the speaker, we were playing the music so loud. It's like 2 a.m. We're playing the music so loud. We would have these all-night parties. I'm talking like all night where there's just somebody passed out on the steps. And you're just stepping over them, going in and out of the house to like do whatever you're going to do and come back out. Like those kind of parties. And it's like, I love that wild lifestyle. I am so drawn to it. Because it's that ultimate, like, I don't give a fuck. Like, we're going to have a blast tonight.
Yeah.
Like, when we will party hard, right?
Yeah.
You know? So, the thing is that the crew was coming apart because everybody had big problems. Myself included, right? I'm trying to run a business, and that's my lifestyle on the side. That works really well. That works really good. Yeah, okay. The thing was, I was trying to figure out a way to monetize this lifestyle because, in all honesty, people would watch that. So I was like, dude, like, we gotta film this, put up videos, get a following, we can make our own shirts, we can sustain through doing this, doing that. Like, I was looking at it like a business. I was like, you guys are just the right amount of fucked up. Like, we would have group meetings, and I would literally say this, right? I'd be like, dude, we are just the right amount of fucked up. We're like, we could make something here. But then, you know, the problem is when you're dealing with those types, there's a lot of not...
You're the only one that'll look at it that way.
Yeah,
That's the issue.
And then once the infighting got bad enough, I mean, Alright, so here's the thing. What really caused... You just waving at the camera randomly?
Once in a while.
What really caused the whole thing to fall apart was this girl who was a part of the group, sort of. Like, she was kind of came around and stuff, but she was close to someone. She literally OD'd and died. Like, she died in... Not the bedroom at the house, like at her own house. She was in there for days. Nobody found her.
Oh my god.
It, like, literally, her ex-husband or what... It was a whole messed up situation, but... Like, found her and stuff, and, like, that devastating... What is that noise?
Yeah, I hear that too.
Is that? Anyways, so what ended up happening is, like, that devastated the crew. Devastated them. And it, like... The whole point is that none of them had their stuff together before that. And, like, I had my stuff together the most out of all of them, and I was barely hanging on. Right? Like, my personal life was so crazy, especially trying to, like, run a business during that time. So, this girl basically, she ODs, and some of the people in the crew were closer to her than others. And, dude, it went downhill so fast from there. I'm talking, like, the drinking increased, the drugs increased, everything that was already dangerous enough started to just become seriously like to the point where somebody's gonna die. Mm-hmm. Somebody's actually gonna die on top of what happened. And it caused a lot of, like, this infighting with us because I'm trying to, like, lead them. Their tensions are through the roof with everything that's going on. And, like, we were trying to, like, book this show to go down to Virginia to actually ride in, right? I had this connection down in West Virginia, and we were going to go and, like, ride in this show. And, like, none of them had any money. Everything had been spent on booze and fucking drugs and, like, all this kinds of stuff after this. Mm-hmm. And then they started taking it out on me, being like, well, you're the reason that we don't have any fucking money, and, like, da-da-da-da. I'm like, how am I the fucking reason you don't have money? Like,
yeah.
So it just deteriorated, and we started having some nights where, like, you know, some of them would get so hammered they would no longer care about life, and then they would get on the bikes, and we would have to go chasing after. Like, this was a shit show by this time. We would have to go chasing after who had taken off in an attempt to shut off the bike if we could catch up to him and pull the key. So, I like to consider myself a good rider. I'm not the best. There was no possible way I could keep up on 2 specific nights. The first night, John, you know Boston Post Road? Milford?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. You ever gone 180 miles an hour on it?
Can't say that I have.
Okay. Through red lights.
Yeah.
He wasn't stopping. He was pegged throttle, no brake light, through every single red light. I have no clue what the hell this John is supposed to do in his life, but I tell you right now, it's got to be something. because the amount of stuff he has gotten away with is insane. My bike at max goes 183.5 miles an hour, and then it blows apart and shoots hot oil all over my leg.
Speaking from experience?
Speaking from actual, I was there. The engine casing blows apart on the side, and oil shoots all over my leg at 183.5. So if you're curious, that's the max of the spike bike. So
183.5. Okay, good. And
yep. I was looking at the tag. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, holy shit! Like,
do we know the degree of how hot the actual oil is? Is
hot.
it also
Fucking hot.
183.5?
It's really hot. So we take off one night. We're riding with him. He's kind of like okay, but see, he was always high on something, and like his problem was pills. It was always some form of fucking pills. He didn't give a shit. Like, I have not come across many people who actually truly scare me. This kid scared me. He scares me to this day. Like, to this day, the one who I keep referring to as John scares me. I have only met maybe 4 people in my life who were to the level of not giving a fuck that this kid was. So anyways, we're going down the Boston Post Road, and all of a sudden he just takes off. And he is slamming the throttle fast as the bike can go. And I'm saying he is lucky to, like, we lost him. We completely lost. There was no chance of us keeping up with him unless we were going to die. Right. And we just watched this red light going, and the cars are going. And he just happened to just right through, like he wanted to die.
Yeah.
Like, I'm telling you, things were that bad. And then there was another one with one of the other guys having a night like that. And we were trying to chase him down and stuff. And, like, I'm just sitting there in my head, like, I'm like, how did this get that bad? Because all it had started out at was, we're all hanging out. All right, this one deals a little bit of pot. Okay, cool. Yeah, whatever. It's cool. Yeah, we throw some awesome parties. We're doing burnouts. Like, we got bikes in the kitchen, like shit like that. There's some girls here. There's some, like, whatever. So anyways, another night, one of the other ones is starting to ride like that too. And we're sitting, like, it was me, only one guy in that crew did I never have a problem with. And him and I are still friends to this day. We'll call him Tony. So me and Tony Matana. Me and Tony are like, we got to get this kid, but we can't keep up with him. Why can't we keep up with him? Because he's taking blind curves on the wrong side of the road.
Right.
Like if the road veers to the left, he's on the wrong side of the road, going into head-on coming traffic. It was just really bad. I don't understand how they didn't die. And actually, he did crash. He crashed at 150 miles an hour. His bike split in half. Actually split in half. Like, if you look at a bike, you know the front, where the front tire is and the back tire is back here, right? So you have the engine compartment here, or the engine, whatever. The front tire, the shocks, the triple trees, and the whole front of the gas tank was sitting over here. The bike blew up. Like, physically caught fire, blew up the whole bit. He crashed into the back of a vehicle at 150-something miles an hour after leaving a bar drunk, and blew his bike apart on the highway. He's still alive.
Did he go over the car? Or, like, how did that...
I was not there. I don't know what happened, but that's basically what it was. So anyways, just going back into, like, the scene and stuff. So this girl basically passes away, and then the infighting became horrible, and all the stuff just went way down, and they started fighting me because it was my fault. Like, not the girl, but, like, right. Little things were setting them all off, and they were all just going at each other. Like, one of them, dude, like, I witnessed him fucking assaulting his girlfriend, like, in the parking lot. Like, we had to get the cops involved. Like, of all people to call the cops, we had to call the fucking cops. Like,
the last resort.
Oh my god, dude, that's a bad story. That's John. Like, that is all right. The thing is, I'm sitting here trying to figure out which stories to, like, tell. I've been debating this one. I will tell this story. This is a really bad story. So we're at a bar. It's just me, John, and his girlfriend. That's it.
John's a bit of a loose cannon by this point. John has a drinking problem. When he drinks harder shit. We're at this bar. Everything's fine. Him and her are kind of fighting. They were always fucking fighting. Not like what happened later, though. It gets to a point where he's that like happy kind of drunk, like da-da-da, but there's always this underlying tension.
Yeah.
Like he'll take you in his arm and like be like, oh man, you're my fucking brother. You know that? But like, it's like the arm's like tightening. Like there's something right below the surface.
He's killing you.
Like he halfway wants to break your neck.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to describe
it.
it. So I will never forget this night for my entire life. And this is one of the reasons like this guy is just, I don't know what you do with this kind of person. Because he's still the same way to the best of my knowledge. So he finally gets kicked out of the bar because all he's doing is drinking. I was at the bar to talk to the bartender because me and her had like kind of a thing going, right? So I was just there stopping by saying hello to her. Him and her happen to be there. Fine. Him and her go out to the parking lot. I'm inside the bar talking with the bartender. While I'm talking with the bartender.
I love that.
So while I'm talking with the bartender, my phone starts going off. And I'm looking at my phone and I'm like, why the fuck is she calling me? Like they just left.
Yeah.
And so I ignore it. And my phone starts calling again and again. And I finally said, okay, hold on 1 second. I pick up the phone. She is screaming for help into the phone for me. Like, she's screaming, you have to get outside. He's breaking into my car. He's da-da-da-da. He's going to kill me. And I'm like, what? Like, I look outside the window. He is bashing the bottle of, like, his alcohol against her car. Breaks the fucking... Like, he had broken the handle off the car, so he couldn't use the handle anymore to get in the car because it was locked. And he bashes his way into the car, and he hums the bottle with the alcohol in it, like the whole bit, like into her in the car. And I'm like looking out the window, like, holy shit! Like, so
This isn't happening. This isn't happening.
it gets so much worse than this.
Jeez.
This is what I'm trying to explain, like, why I get torn about the scene. Because, like, on one hand, it's really fucking cool. On the other hand, there is a very dark side to what goes on with all this stuff. I go running outside. I literally look at this bartender. We'll call her Janelle. Change all the fucking names.
Janelle's nice.
And I'm like, sweetie, I gotta go. I'll be right back. I go running outside, and I'm like, John, what the fuck is wrong with you? And he turned like a man possessed. Like, he backed out of the car and he looked at me, and dude, he didn't even sound like him. Yeah. I'm gonna feel so weird doing this, like, but he literally looked at me. He's like, you stay there. And I was like, John, what's going on? And like, he was talking in this weird raspy voice, and like, I'm telling you, like, to this day, I seriously wonder if like something got into him when he drinks, if something gets into him. Like, she's screaming for help on the passenger side of the car, like backed way into the car, terrified to get out of the car. He was halfway in the car now, in there, when he had chucked the bottle at her. He's grabbing at her, trying to reach her out of the car. I'm standing near the back of the car now, and like, he's bleeding a little bit from like bashing through, like, to get in.
I mean,
yeah,
tends to happen.
Right.
When
so
glasses in your hand.
Right. So yeah, typically. So they're like, we're at this weird standoff because, like, here's the thing. God, this podcast makes me look like such a bitch. John is a monster. John fucking kill me. Like, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, you had to call me for help. There's a perfectly good bouncer right there. So I'm standing there. I'm like, I don't know what to do, because I would not be able to stop him. Like, I would have to physically try to kill him, as in I would not be able to restrain him. That's what I'm saying. Like,
right.
What I'm saying is, like, would there's certain people, like, that if you go up against, you can restrain them and it's going to be good. There's other people you're going to have to put down if you're going to win this fight.
Yeah.
He would be one of those. And I'm like, this is my boy. Like, him and I were the closest out of the whole crew. And I have no clue what's going on. All I know is you are, like, going after your girl insanely. So anyways, he's talking all this crazy stuff or whatever, and I forgot how it worked, but he reaches into the car and he rips the keys out of the ignition. And no, he had taken her keys, so she couldn't leave. So there's no keys. She's out of the car now, on the other side of the car, like telling me like, I need to stop him. I need to whatever. I need to call the cops. Da-da-da-da.
Right.
I'm standing like 6 feet away from this guy who looks like he's possessed as fuck. And oh God, it's so, oh God, his eyes were so crazy. And he said something to me like, I see what side you're on or something. He said something weird, and then he runs into the woods. So there was a drop off at the front of the car. There was a drop off down to the river, and then there were woods over here. He runs past her and off into the woods. She comes running over to me, and like, it's not like I'm holding her, but she's like, we have to call the cops right now. Like,
Yeah.
he's gonna do something crazy. And I'm like, okay, like, we need to get you out of here. And she's like, I can't. He threw the keys. I'm like, he threw the keys. And she's like, yeah, he threw the keys. And I'm like, okay, where are the keys? Like, she's like, he threw them somewhere down the ravine.
Get the keys.
So I get her back in the bar just so that there's some protection or witnesses.
Right.
So I get her back in the bar. It's like 12 o'clock at night. So there's not really much people at the bar. The bartender that I'm freaking trying to like talk with comes outside with me and I tell her what's going on. So she comes outside with the bouncer. We start looking for the keys. He walks out of the forest. And so let me back up. He's been gone for 20 minutes.
Jeez.
We're all looking for these keys. This bartender must have dealt with major shit in her life because she was so calm towards this guy. It was insanity.
Yeah.
He comes out. His face is all bloody. His knuckles are bleeding, and he has, I will call them lacerations on his arm. Deep, deep cuts.
Jeez.
I'm talking long, deep, bleeding, you have to get to a hospital, cuts on your arm. Come to find out later, to ruin a part of the story, he was bashing his face into trees in the woods.
That's something a normal person would do, right?
Uh-huh. He was bashing his face, which was why his face was all mangled, and basically punching mailboxes. Just going down the street, and there was a line of mangled mailboxes when we left, like eventually when we left. I don't know where the lacerations came from. Maybe he took a knife and just, like, I'm talking deep lacerations, like something sharp you were digging into the muscle. So he walks out of the forest like this. And I'm like, yeah, that's my boy. Like, and I'm sitting there like, I need a gun. Like, I'm like, and at the time, like, I didn't carry. And I'm sitting there and he stalks out of the fucking woods. And the bartender, calm as a cucumber. She's like, hey, just curious, where's the keys for your girlfriend's car? We just want to make sure that she makes it home okay. And this kid like has trashed the house, and he's walking out through the doorway, and he's got 2 Molotovs in his hands, and he's got blood all over him. That's exactly what this guy John looked like. And he's walking out of the forest, and she's calm as a cucumber. We need to find the keys, get your girlfriend home. He's like, oh, I don't know where they are. And she's like, okay, can you help us look for him? I'm like, yeah, I want him close to me right now.
It's a good. This is the person that I want.
Dude, she is like 5'4", 105 pounds. This guy is a fucking monster, bleeding profusely, drunk out of his mind, possessed, and she's now looking for the keys side by side with him. And I'm sitting there, I'm like,
what?
This is real life?
How does that work?
How does this is not real. So we're now all 3 of us looking for the keys outside. Come to find out, he never threw the keys. They're in his pocket. And I forgot how it ends up happening. He ends up on the front stoop talking with the bartender. She uses psychology to get into his head, to get the keys out of his hand, to... Oh, God, no, I'm skipping a whole part. So he comes back. While we're looking for the keys, he stole the car. So we're looking for the keys down the ravine. He gets in the car and takes off with the car. Okay. Now he is gone.
Okay.
I'm sorry. It's been a long time. This story is... He takes off with the car. So then we all end up back in the bar. His girlfriend's crying. I'm trying to calm her down, but I've had it with this bullshit because I've already been dealing with this fucking cruise bullshit for long enough. And now this, I'm like, this is insane. It's now 1:15 in the morning. This has been going on for an hour. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing dating this? She's like, he always gets like this when he drinks. I'm like, what? He always gets. She's like, you don't know who he really is. Like, I'm like, then why are you with him? Like if he's this bad, why are you with this guy? Whatever. Here's the thing. He then, now I'm back in the bar. He slams open the door. He comes into the bar. There's nobody in the bar anymore. It is just me, the bartender, the bouncer, his girlfriend. That's it. He opens the door, and dude, I'm telling you, it was like a horror movie the way the door opened. Now remember, we had already talked to him. He's got the keys. He's got whatever. They'd thrown over here, but then he started the car. He drove away. Okay.
Walks into the bar.
He walks.
It's like,
yeah, a guy walks into the bar. Yes.
yeah. Horrible.
I'm telling you, he like he like punched the door or something, and it just
slowly opened and creaked.
And in the silhouette of the street lamp, he like walks in and just stands there looking at us. And I'm like, someone's going to die.
Yeah.
And it's probably going to be me. Yeah. Like, just like, and like literally I was sitting at the bar and I got fed up and I hit the bar and I turned around and I got up and I got like, didn't get in his face, but I stood between him and his girlfriend because I actually thought he was going to kill her. I really, really did. Like, he had frightened the fuck out of me and everybody else that night. And he walked right up to me and he walked right up to me and he like literally, it was, I'm telling you, the voice didn't even sound human. It was the weirdest thing, and it frightened me is the word for it. And he looked at me and he said something. He was like, get out of my way. Like, it was this weird, raspy, it didn't sound like a human. And that is why, I don't know, it really seemed possessed. And I looked at him and like, he was like snarling, like his lip was like, I'm like, dude, like, what the fuck am I looking at? Like, this was my like boy, right? Supposedly. I had only known him for a few months, but like we had like connected right off the bat. We were always riding. It was always me and him, and then the rest of the crew would join up. We'd have like fucking sleepovers. He'd get drunk and like pass out on the couch. I'd be whatever. Right. Like, I was like, this is my boy. Like, what? I was like, dude, what is wrong with you? And like, dude, I was shaking. Have you ever like really been in a fight?
No.
Okay. So I'm going to explain to you.
But no.
When you seriously get to that edge of a fight, like where it's like that one little tick more and the fight is on, when you get there, your whole body is vibrating with adrenaline. And you are like, you can't even look at somebody straight because you're I'm telling you, that's how it goes. And then it's any hair more and it's on and you're fighting for your life. I'm talking fighting for your life. I've only been in that situation 2 times in my life, but I'll tell you, that's what happens when you know that this is going to be a fight for your life, and that's the end of it. This is one of the times where it didn't actually get there. He's standing in front of me, and I remember I think I said something to him, like, I was like, listen, man, like, you have to go. And like, I had my hands up like this because I was just like, I wanted it to kind of be like halfway, like hands up, halfway, like I hope I can grab your arm as you swing.
Yeah.
And I noticed, like, I was locked eyes with him, but I noticed like peripherally, like he got his fist ready. And I forgot what else he said. He said some other like threatening thing. And that's when I noticed his eyes were black. And I will never forget what he looked. I'm looking at it right now. I will never forget what that guy looked like that night. So when you blow coke, right, your pupils get small, right? Total opposite. His pupils covered his eyes.
That's creepy.
Like, not the white, though I didn't see white, but I'm telling you, it was just like his eyes were dilated to that like extent. He looked possessed. His eyes were black. He had his fist ready to go. He had all this stuff, and I literally, he said something like, she's coming with me. I was like, she's not. she's not. And I'm like, I'm going to die. Like,
Yeah.
like, dude, I was scared. I was fucking scared. And the bouncer came up next to me with a pull stick. I mean, this all transpired in a few seconds, but like this was a long time standing there being like,
Yeah.
So the bouncer came up to me with a pull stick and was like, listen, buddy, you're not taking another step. You're going to leave or we're putting you in the hospital right now. And like, I was like, that's cool. Cause he's a bouncer. And I can
He's going to put you in the hospital. I'm just going to stand here and be really protective and make sure everything doesn't go down.
I'm just going to stand there like this while you take care of what you have to do.
I'm going to do my best. I'm just going to try. I'm going to try really hard. He's probably going to put you in the hospital. I'm going to try.
I'm going to be supporting evidence that that's what happened. So he actually backed down, but he never looked at the bouncer. He was only looking right at my eyes.
Yeah.
And when he did back down, he looked at me and he said something like, he's like, I can see you. And I'm thinking like, is that fucking demon talking to me? Like, what the fuck am I looking at? Like, this is, dude, you can laugh all you want. I was fucking terrified. Like, this was weird. This guy is standing in front of you. His face is bashed up. Blood's coming down. Lacerations on his arm. His knuckles are blown apart. His eyes are black. And he's threatening your life standing in front of you. He's way bigger than you.
Yeah.
Come on.
Because him saying I can see you is not like I can see you. It's
Yeah.
I can see you.
Yeah.
Like in like.
Right. He was like,
The guts.
I can see you.
Yeah.
And I know who you are. I know who you are now. Don't ever forget I know where you live. And like he like turned around and he kind of like did that back walk, like hit the door with his back and like went outside. And oh God, what happened from here? He goes outside. The bartender jumps the bar. Literally goes over, locks the door, turns around, and she's like, I'm fucking done with this shit tonight. Da, 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 da. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, now you're losing your cool. Yeah. And like,
I literally just peed my pants. So, can we go?
No, I mean, I did. I stood my ground, but like, I knew damn well, like, if that hair trigger went off, like, you're fighting with your life because this person isn't thinking right. Like, they're gonna try to kill you. She calls the cops. Jeez. She gets on the phone with the cops. And at some point, I forgot how it played out, but like we went looking for the car and we found it bashed into a wall behind a bush with the key still in it. So we ended up driving the car back to the place and she's on the phone with the cops and like the car is now in the parking lot. I'm sorry I can't get the chronological order of all these events. But the very last time I saw John that night was I was just pacing the bar and I'm thinking in my head like, I can't go home.
Yeah.
Like this is really bad. Like I can't go home tonight. I look out the window. He's right on the other side of the window. Like I was standing next to the window. I look out the window. He's right there.
Wait, where is this? Is this in your home?
This is at the bar. We're still at the bar. I look out the window. He's knelt down with a I forgot what he's got, but he's fucking wrecking her tires on the car.
Who's the bartenders or the
girlfriend? So she can't leave. Like psycho. Oh yeah. When he backed his way through the door, the car was in the parking lot. He goes around like, dude, this is like a true story.
Back through the door.
He goes back through the door, and we had thought he left. Locked the door. She gets on the phone with the cops, and then I'm like pacing around, like I'm like Jesus Christ, and I look outside, and he's kicking and breaking her tire stems. That's what he was doing of the car, flattening all the tires,
right,
so that she can't leave. Like he was all about this like crazy level of control over her. So, anyways. I'm just standing there and he like turns and he sees me and he like points at me and he's like you're next, like, or something like that. It was just this outlandish night, man. And so he ends up running into the woods because like the sirens are coming. Like he runs off again down the street and the cops come in. She wouldn't say a word.
What?
The girlfriend would not say a word. Nothing. I
mean, that's typically what happens, though, right? Because when you're controlling someone, or when something like that happens, you're afraid of losing your life now.
She was
And what
literally...
happens afterwards?
The cops are sitting there. All of us are witnesses. And she's sitting there with it. We're all together, and the cops are questioning it. Like, I finally feel like, okay, at least we got enough cops, because, like, I knew he had guns. I'm like, so if he comes back, like, he's got to get through, like, this many people. and by that time, I am a good runner, and you're drunk. So, like, so we're sitting there, and she would not say a word against him. She was like, you know me. Like, the cop even knew her, because the cops have been called so many times about this relationship. She's like, you know me, I'm not going to say a thing. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, how can you guys not arrest him? We all witnessed this. All of us are saying, for some weird loophole thing, I don't know what it was, or if there was some get out of jail free, I don't know what it was. But they did a manhunt for him, but he never got arrested for this night. Never. So the way this night ends, I said to her, literally, I said, I'm bringing you home, and I'm dropping you off, and you and me are done. Don't you ever call me. Don't you ever whatever. I'm dropping you off, da-da-da-da. While driving her home, she starts getting a call from her parents' phone. So the parents' house.
Okay.
It's him. He broke into her parents' house and is threatening to kill her parents. This is, dude, I'm telling you. He literally said, you come here right now, or I'm killing them in their sleep. This was the fun. This is a real
That was
person.
A gasp.
This is a real person. This is a real night of my life. This is why I only dabble
Hey, this dude is fucking nuts.
at this
We're
point.
gonna find out where he is at the end of the story.
Yeah. He just got out of jail. I mean, like, he's out now. So anyways,
Happy I'm here with
Talking about it.
yeah.
What's your full name?
so the thing is that, like, she gets a call. It's him, and I can overhear it. And again, that same fucked up, weird, deep, raspy, fucked up voice. And he literally tells her, you're coming here now, or I'm killing him. He's like, they're asleep right now. I got in through the window, and I'm calling you from their house phone, so you know I'm serious. And I'm just driving. It's like 3 in the fucking morning.
All I want to do is go home.
All I wanted to do was hit on the bartender. That's all I wanted to do tonight was hit on the bartender. And I'm sitting there in the car, and she's sitting there, and I literally told her, I was like, hang up the phone. You need to hang up this phone now. And, like, I took the phone, I think, and I shut it off. I was like, if you don't call the cops, you can get out of my car right now, and we're done. Good luck to you tonight. Because if you're not going to call the cops at this level, when this guy has broken into your house and he's going to kill your parents. And I told her straight out, I said, if you don't call the cops right now, you're getting out of my car. And I didn't carry through that threat. I made her hit a friend of hers up, and I dropped her off at the friend's house. And I was like, if you don't call the fucking cops, you are one of the dumbest of the dumb I've ever met in my entire life, and you're probably going to end up dead. I dropped her off at that house. I drove home. Dude, I did not sleep. I was just awake all night. I hit up everybody in the fucking crew. Everybody. And I told them everything that had happened. Not a single one of them wanted to kick him out of the crew. They were like, well, we weren't there. We don't know how bad it really was. And like, da-da-da. And I was sitting there. I'm like, is this shit normal? Like, this shit is not normal. And that was one of, like, the craziest nights of my life. And he blew up my phone for, like, days. And then the next party I went to, which was at Tony, we'll call him Tony, right? Was at Tony's house. He was there. And he was just trying to be friendly and, like, talk with me. He's like, dude, like, we have, like history. Like, we're, like, really... I'm like, you're not an ex-girlfriend. You're a psychopath. Like, I literally, like, I was like, dude, like, do you not realize, like, what level you went to? I'm like, you should be in prison. Like, tell him right to his face, because he wasn't drunk, right?
Right.
You were no longer possessed. And, I'll never forget his eyes that night and stuff, but that is one of the wildest nights of my life. And that is a true story. Jeez. Yeah.
Crazy.
Jeez.
That was a really bad night. And it blew my mind that the crew wouldn't kick him out. I was like, what, like, level of acceptability is this? Like,
You are who you surround yourself with.
Yeah, that's me. I'm totally those people.
But no, but I mean, you got out of it. You're bettering
Some
your
people are more susceptible.
right.
You know.
Yeah, dude, it's just the thing is that like this is what I'm trying to explain all the way from the beginning of this like this are these podcasts? What are we even fucking doing?
Well, technically, it's not a podcast until we're, on.
All right. This
That was a lot
shot.
of technology talk.
Yeah. Here we go.
I didn't want to get into it.
Technically,
Well, technically, it only happens when you upload to SoundCloud and enough people download it for it to count.
Yeah. So. And another.
Let me sip my tea.
Fucking bitch. Going live is going to be another really cool thing that we're going to do soon.
We could go live eventually. I gotta get a little more comfortable. But here's the thing. So, all I'm trying to say, what I'm going back to.
Well, live is okay, but then you can't cut anything out.
Well, of that video, then you could have the clips.
I could talk about safer things, but here's the thing. So this is my whole point with everything. I'm not downplaying anybody. I'm not trying to put nobody down. What I am trying to say is that there are many lifestyles that are very, very, very attractive. Mm. I happen to like the wilder lifestyle. Mm-hmm. And I will tell you right now, at some capacity, God, stop hiccuping. You're talking. Josh? I will say,
I'm going to go now.
at some point, I am going to get back into that lifestyle to some capacity because I love it. But I'm also going to be a little more judicious, I suppose.
Yeah.
Because
Go ahead. Yeah.
I don't want to go to jail.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like that route, that level, I can't do. I can't do the drug running and all this kinds of stuff. Like, there is so much. Do you want to hear another story?
We got to do something uplifting. This is.
All right, so here's an uplifting story.
Give me an uplifting one. So hold on, before you go any further, there are people I bet out there, or there are bikers out there that are in a good spot that you could probably join and still have that crazy lifestyle, but
Yeah.
in a better way.
Yeah. It's just so interesting to be able to like share some of the stories because it's like when I look back and I'm like, holy shit, that was real.
That actually happened.
Like here's another. This one's much quicker. So there was a group, a big group. Like I forgot 50 something riders or something. It was not my crew. It was a buddy of mine's crew. And like I used to go riding with them and stuff and like, dude, that was badass. And it's like we looked like we were like a gang. Like it felt so like gnarly to just like pull up and like we'd pull into a lot and we just kept coming. Like there's 50, 80 riders.
That's a cool feeling.
Like all just all parking and we all just get out. We're like, we're going to go fucking whatever. And like we'd walk in and like we would just dominate the place. And the thing was, you don't fuck with those people, right? Like like you're hanging out at a bar and you think you're a tough guy and you think like whatever and you like own this bar. And then you have like 80 guys. You know, obviously some had like their girlfriends with them. We actually had a few chick riders too. But you have 80 guys just roll into a fucking like bar and they're all hanging out outside. Like it was a cool feeling. It almost made you feel like this weird version of like Untouchable. Okay, so here's the thing. You know how I said that it felt like a gang? Mm-hmm. Okay, well here's the thing. Apparently it was.
I was in a gang.
Apparently.
So I was in a gang. I didn't know, but I was in a gang. I didn't know.
So, no joke.
I didn't know the tattoo I was in a gang. It actually meant that I was in a gang. I didn't know.
So here's the thing. This I didn't know it was a gang. My buddy didn't know it was a gang. A third, I'd say 2/3 of the people in the crew didn't know it was a gang. Oh my God. The 1/3 were a bunch of drug runners who knew it was a gang. Because they were a gang and they had joined in with basically our giant group. This is a whole nother time period in my life. They had joined up with our other big crew. Why? to look like they were untouchable. You can't fuck with us. We're this big. That was literally what it was. So all of them were fucking like, I think it was cocaine. I was positive it was cocaine. And the way this all got found out about, by the way, is my buddy's friend in the crew walked in a bedroom that was supposed to be locked but just wasn't. And he walked in on fucking bricks of like cocaine. He walks in and there's like, I don't know. Let's use a number, 100 grand, like stacks of hundreds, fucking bricks of cocaine, giant drug deal taking place in the back of this house that we're all just hanging hanging out. Yeah. Me, the dipshit, hanging out outside, just talking to somebody. Yeah, I like bikes. Yeah, you should change the tire. You get better grip with this, and maybe you do better wheelies. Yeah, that's what you could do. Meanwhile, in the house, listen up, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
You fuck with us, we're gonna kill you. But here's the transaction. But nobody knew it. Only like
crazy.
Probably only a quarter.
That's crazy.
We're doing that.
That's crazy.
But they used it as a cloak.
Yeah, it's a front.
Well, yeah, so here's the problem with the front. So eventually you piss somebody off. I was not there this day. This is all hearsay, but this is basically what happened. They're all traveling. They're all going for a ride. I was supposed to be on this ride. I was not on this ride. They're all going for this ride. Everything's cool. And there's these two vehicles that just pull up, and start running the bikers off the road. Like slamming into them and running them off the road. So, like, nobody died, but people got severely injured, like bashing people off the road. And again, 50, 80 bikers. So I think one of them was a truck, one of them was a car, and they got in the middle, and then they like brake checked the guys behind them, so like crashed into them. Then they bashed, like they're literally trying to kill people who weren't even part of it, because from the outside,
right, it all looked like everyone was a part of it.
Right. Yeah. I just realized I'm telling everything with a banana on the table. So, anyways,
there's nothing wrong with
they're literally bashing people off their bikes, and like the details are a little spotty of how they got a hold of the guys, but oh god, I forgot if they shot the car. I forgot what happened, but like the ones, yeah. This is the shit that goes on. Like I forgot if they shot the tire. I don't remember
so the guys
how.
in the car are like rivals of the drug dealers.
Yeah.
Thinking that you guys are all in
Yeah.
and trying to kill.
Yeah. So the thing is, like, they couldn't get close enough to the car to shoot the driver or something like that, because the car, like, as soon as you got close, he would just swerve like all over.
Right.
So my buddy, the one who like thought he ran this like happy-go-lucky crew, pulls over the side of the road. It was a construction site. Grabs a chunk of concrete, like big concrete. My buddy just he didn't have a gun either. We're the only idiots without guns in the scene. So he puts the concrete on his bike and he speeds up. And I don't know if the guy was out of bullets. I don't know what the fuck happened. He literally got next to the car and he bashed the concrete into the face of the driver from his bike. Like, I don't know if he slowed down. I don't know how he pulled this off, but this is what happened. He bashes the concrete into the driver, and the driver goes off the road, and the car flips like a fucking movie. Flips.
Jeez.
Right? So all the people who have crashed way back down the way are long gone. Like, this ended up most people dispersing, but my buddy was like, I got to put a stop. My buddy's ex-military. Like, he's a motherfucker. And he bashed him in the face with the concrete. It was enough to get him off the road, and the car started flipping. To this day, he has no clue if the guy lived or not. Like, this was a big, crazy fucking thing. So here's the thing. The guy in the truck got stuck in traffic. The guy in the truck got pulled out of the car by some of the people who were in the group.
Wait, what?
Okay.
Where did this truck come from? The truck?
There was a truck and a car. There was two. There was a truck with guys running people off the road. There was a
Okay,
car
and the
with
car.
people. Yes,
Okay,
the
okay.
car got taken out by my buddy bashing him in the face with concrete. The truck got stuck. This was almost 10 years ago. So
Almost 10 years ago.
so what I'm trying to get across is like
During high school.
like a lot of the stories like I talk about and stuff, like this is a whole different life. Like
it's another lifestyle for sure.
a long time ago.
Yeah, that's
right?
crazy.
So this guy got stuck in traffic, like he couldn't get by the cars, and they swarmed the car. The only part that doesn't make sense to me about this story is like he had to be out of bullets. Like
The car or the truck?
both, like
Yeah.
for my buddy who have gotten close enough to hit him with the concrete, and
Right.
for this, like they must have ran out. So the guy in the truck, there's only one guy. They broke through the window, just like what you saw fucking happen in that New
You can
York
break
crazy.
through a
Right.
window.
They bashed through the window. I almost said his name. Pulls him out of the thing, and like the ones who knew what was, I mean, everybody else was pissed too. Like, and dude, they beat this guy. I don't think he died, because like the cops had long been called by this time, and were like
Right.
literally, this was a big thing
Deal.
that
Yeah.
happened. And the like you've got like gloves on with like the knuckle things, like
Yeah.
dude, this guy like is done.
Yeah, he'll never be the same.
And we all thought this was just a happy-go-lucky crow.
Right.
Like pulled him out, and they swarmed him in broad daylight. I'm sure somebody got it on fucking their phones and shit, and like all that kinds of stuff.
Was there phones back then?
There were, you had like the picture phones and stuff, but like that,
I got it on my car phone.
yeah, I was not there, so I can't tell you how all this all played out.
That's
All I
crazy.
know, whole bunch of people crashed their motorcycles. There's a car flipping and all this kinds of shit. Cops were called. Lots of people were fucking arrested. Like, or actually, that's the funny thing. I don't think there were like arrests. Like it was this weird thing where like almost everybody kind of got away with it. Not the one in the car, and not the other one.
Right.
They weren't going anywhere. So
I mean,
right. But the thing is that like
when you can't walk.
right. So it's like because I'm thinking, I'm like, as I'm explaining the story, I'm like, how can I even prove this is true? Like I'm trying to think back. I'm like, where did this take place? Because it had to hit the news. Like this was too big to not hit the news.
Right.
I mean, you got a guy flipping a car over and over and over. You got guys ending up in the hospital because you ran them off the road. Like this had to be in the news. I'm trying to think, like, how would I get a hold of that to like put in the thing. But the problem with doing that too, like I can't, again, I can't share the names of the people who these were and like whatever. So all
Instant
right.
watch
So I guess it
list.
doesn't matter. Instant, yeah. I'm on
instant
this watch list.
Yeah, you're on. And now that I'm here, like I'm associated with that watch list. So
Well, no.
thanks.
See, the
Great.
thing is, like, I don't do anything. I do nothing.
Well, the good
Like,
thing is that you weren't there for that.
I
so
was
you
not
have
there
no
for that.
idea.
I literally was not there for that.
Yeah.
Like that was just some random ride, and it just ended up getting ambushed by these rival something.
Yeah. This could have been a made up story too.
I made up the whole thing.
No, but I mean like
There, I made
if
up the
you-
whole thing.
If you heard about it, think about it. If you heard about it, then and it was on the news or whatever.
Oh,
I
it
mean,
had
if
to be on
was-
the. I will
right,
guarantee
if it
you
was
this was
something
on
this
the
big, yeah, probably on the news.
Yeah.
We'll have to do some searching.
But yeah, I mean that's another story from some of the stuff that happened. I mean,
Josh is a very interesting person.
Oh,
I'm coming
dude.
to find out.
dude, and these are just the stories like I'm willing to tell. Like, like this is all right. This is the last one I'm going to share. This one is This one it was the. It's so funny because it's not the wildest, but it was one of the most intense nights of my life. This story is true, just like the other ones that I made up. So there was a crew that I was not a part of, but I wanted to be. This is a long time ago. And I have footage from this. I actually have footage from it. I can actually prove this story. I can prove this one.
You probably shouldn't say it. Can we cut that
out? Because I had a GoPro running like during this time. So I wanted to get in good. Like I was much, much, much younger at this point. And I wanted to get in good with this this crew. And I was able to get in like I was able to get in. That's the point. I was able to get in to hang out with them. I hung out with this crew one night. That is the key part. This is one night hang out with this crew. So I go on this big ride with them during the day. And everything's cool. Like craziness through the streets. Awesome footage. I'm like, I can't believe I'm here. This is so amazing. Like, I am telling you, it was the most. This was the first time I had ever really rolled with like wild West type, right? I thought I was such a badass. I was like, oh my God, like he's doing that on the sidewalk? Wow. Like it was all through the city streets in this one city. It was insane. People were like flipping in a wheelie, like blowing apart a bike, jumping on the back of another person's going. There's cops behind us. There's all this kind of stuff. There had to be 400 riders. Easily 400 riders. Jeez. Absolutely insane. I'm talking if you've got a street going through like some city, I'm talking shoulder to shoulder, like a mile long. Like it was insanity, the amount of riders that were there that day. And the shenanigans that went on. So I got in good with a few of the people and stuff. And I don't know. We ended up back at the meeting spot. Not everybody made it, but that was okay. I was like, I can't believe this is like going on. Like this is real. Blew my mind. I was so young. I had grown up watching like all these like wild, stunt videos and all this kind of stuff. Me and my boys used to like ride a little bit, 1 and 2 people going riding motorcycles or quads. Like this was like off the hook when I was a kid. I was like, holy shit. So, sirens going, all this kinds of shit. You're like, how is everybody not arrested? Because you have 400 people. That's why. Like, and the cops, like all they can do at a point is just hope that this doesn't get too out of hand. Like at a certain point, the cops are just like,
what do we do? Yeah. It's just riot control.
Let's pick one and hope. Like, what do? They got to pick one and hope that he's not in a gang.
Yeah.
And they got to hope that those gang members don't turn around and fucking kill the cop. Like, so it's like, this is what I'm trying to say. Like, there's this whole badass side to it that's so awesome, but there's this other side where it's like, that's not killing a cop. That's not cool. Like hurting somebody who's just driving down the road is not cool. Crashing your bike into somebody who's fucking a pedestrian and changing their life forever, because that's not cool. None of that shit's cool. Like what I'm trying to say about these stories like that I'm sharing, these are real stories, but I'm not condoning whatever. I'm just saying this was my life. Okay. So we're going through the streets and everything's crazy. We get back to the meeting place.
That got real really quick.
Well, no, because like that
was good.
That's the thing that people don't understand. Like when I talk about these stories, they're it's not even me trying to be a badass. Like I'm telling you, like I lived this shit. And
in all of those stories, you were the weakest one. You were the weakest link. That was.
I love how he points it out, but he's like. No,
but
what are you talking about? Like
weakest was the wrong word. Like you were the most like good. Conscious.
Yeah, like the thing is that when it comes down to it, like I've always been able to kind of like roll with those groups, but I've literally had people in those groups like have like heart-to-heart conversations with me, like or like have some form of conversation where they're like, "You're not like us.
Yeah,
we know that, but you're still cool."
And I feel like that's one reason why they really liked you a lot, because they felt like you kind of brought it together in like a business way. Like
it's just the thing is like in some weird way I was able to like be the glue that would hold things. Like I'm telling you, like some of the people in And like here, they're not all fucking whacked, but like some of them like have serious shit going on. They use this stuff as a big escape, and like they would end up having they would end up having these big heart to hearts with me and like talking to me about their families, and they're like, dude, like I don't know what to fucking do. I'm stuck in this life because like I'm telling you, I would have these conversations. They would tell me, some of them are like, I'm stuck in this fucking life. I'm a fucking felon. I can't land a good job. I got 2 kids. You know, my girl is, I don't know, something would be going on with the girl or whatever. And he's like, dude, I have to make money. And he's like, what the fuck else am I going to do but sell these drugs? What am I going to do? I'm going to, be a construction worker? Okay, cool. I'm making $30 an hour. He's like, that doesn't support what I've got going on with this family and the debts that I owe because, you know, he fucking loan sharked some shit to make stuff like the serious problems. And like we would have conversations and I would so fucking retarded. I would literally like draw up, be like, okay, so here you are, and like this is what you got to do. Spend money on this, You know, per month you can bank this much, and then you can pay off. I would literally like, come up with a business plan for their life to turn around. They're like, wow, so this can be done. I'm like, no, it can. It can be done.
So you're their financial planner.
Yeah, that's me. So, you know, it was always this kind of like weird concept where like I've never really fit in anywhere. I don't fit in with the business types, but I can roll with the business types, you know? Like I've always kind of just been like this like very, very, very diversified person. But what I'm trying to get at with all these stories is that like there's 2 sides to everything, and like sometimes the life looks really, really, really cool. And when I say the life, I am talking about everything from the motorcycle life to being a model on Instagram to being super successful with money to being all these kinds of things. It's always like from the outside, everything looks really, really cool. Dude,
It's seeping through. It's seeping through. There's water everywhere.
Sorry.
I have.
And they like use the bathroom.
Yeah, I'm sure it's them.
Cut the shit, guys. So, I've always just been able to like assimilate into these groups because like I'm sort of like part of me is like that, and so like, oh yeah, this cat's cool, and then it's like, you know, I'm like the rarest find in these groups, you know, so. There's so many sides to the story that I could say. But so anyways, the wild story I'm going to get back to. So we end up back at the place, and they all invite me to go and like party with them. I'm like, all right, yeah, fuck yeah. It's only, 10 o'clock at night. Let's start now. So, I end up in one of their hotel rooms and stuff, and like they're riding 50s. Do you know what a 50 is? 50cc, like it's a little dirt bike.
Oh, okay.
Well, they're riding them through the, halls of the hotel.
Makes sense.
Yeah, makes perfect sense. Just 50s, just doing like wheelies through the center of the hotel. Yeah, down the stairs, down whatever. Like
it's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. It was really cool. The staff is like chasing you, like, get out right now, we're calling the cops. Like, and like they're all like squatted down with
they're
like
chasing after you because it's only 50 cc's and they can run faster than you can ride.
Actually, these things are kind of quick. I mean, they go 30 miles an hour. I mean, like,
it's not bad.
And like, they're so tiny, like their knees are like out to the side, like riding through the hotel like foyer.
Big guy on a little bike.
Oh my gosh. Yep. So I end up in one of their hotel rooms. They have the bikes in the hotel room. I'm like, how the fuck did you get the bikes into the hotel room? We're on the 7th floor. They're like, we have a guy who like lets us in like a back door. I'm like, this is awesome. Like, so whatever. We end up going out. We go to this bar. I want to make a very clear point about this bar. Next door is the police station. Directly next door is the police station.
This is gonna be good.
I want to be very clear. This is a great story. Not while you were in it though. It was fucking nuts. We're in there. All you have to know about this place. The bar is, use the balls. The bar is here.
Yeah.
There's a half wall.
Perfect.
There's a half wall that's about, let's say, 8 feet tall. And this is all open with umbrellas and like whatever. This is like the place where people come out and hang out.
It's like a patio.
Right. Thank you, Dosey Dos. It's like a patio. And there's like, an open bar type thing here where the bartenders are doing whatever. We're all hanging out here. It's my first time hanging out with these people.
First time hanging out with these people.
My first time. First night. We go out there, and one of them was on crutches because he had broken his leg. So he's on crutches.
Did he jump off a 3-story building? Or
Fuck you, John. So he's on crutches. Everybody else is fine. We're all talking. We're all hanging out. There was a group of probably 8 of us, maybe 9. So we got all the bikes in the parking lot. I'm currently driving an uninsured truck at the time. This was like one of the lowest points of my life. Mm-hmm. I literally couldn't even afford insurance for the truck, but I wanted to be crazy and wild. Yeah, that always works. So I'm parked across the street. I'm like, oh, cool, great, glad the police station's here. So we all go in. We're all having a good time. Everything's cool. Everything's fine. Everything is fine. Everything's calm. Everything's fine. Gets to like 1 a.m. Everything is fine. There's nobody fighting. Totally different crew from the first story that I told you about. Mm-hmm. Everything is totally fine. Bartender serving. I had my wallet that lights on fire. I had that. I was fucking with the bartender. I was like, I'll give you $100 if you could reach into my wallet and grab it. And she's like, what? I'm like, no, really. Ready? 1, 2. Lights on fire. She's like, oh my God. Like, I'm always talking with the bartender. Anyways, so
Nothing wrong with that.
We're all sitting down, and like some people had cameras going, like whatever, and me and my buddy are talking, and like for me, that's past my bedtime. I gotta go to sleep because they wanted to go riding the next day, and I'm like, if we go riding the next day, I'm going to sleep. I'll stab myself with this thing. So I leave. I come out of the bar here, and I walk around. The police department's here. This is a parking lot. Mm-hmm. Okay? I come out, and I walk across the street to the other parking lot where I'm parked. Mm-hmm. And when I get there, another guy pulls in, who was one of the guys we were waiting for. He was late. Me and him just start talking. We're just hanging out, laying back, just talking, laying on the truck. And we hear this like weird ruckus. And we look over, and we're like, huh. And we just go back to talking. Da-da-da-da. We're just talking. This is the road. Okay? We're just talking, hanging out. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to be heading out for the night. Look back. A chair comes flying up and over the side of the patio, comes out, nails a car, sets off the alarm. A chair just got hummed over the side of this stuff, and we like both stood there as this chair just falls into the street, and the car, woo, 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 like, and we're like, what the fuck? And another chair comes over the fly. Some girl screaming. Me and him looking at each other, and we're like, holy shit, like, let's get in there, let's get in there, because that's a good fucking idea. So I got my GoPro on me. Oh my God. This is why I can prove that this story is true. I got my GoPro on me, and I'm fucking, turn this shit on. So I come running into the parking lot. He runs right in. I go to jump the fence. Very quickly, I decided not to jump this fence. You ever been to a wild mosh pit concert? That's what was going on the other side of that fence. I pop up on the fence. Nope.
Is that basically what happened? Let me just get in.
Yeah. Not yet. That is a bad place to be right now. I pop up on the fence and I bring up the camera. I almost get hit by a chair. First off, dude, it is a all out brawl. Men, women, bartenders, bouncers, doesn't matter. Does not matter. The chairs that were getting thrown over, want to know why those were? The guy on the crutches is trying to hobble away like this, like hopping on his leg and like moving, and hitting with his crutches the people who are coming after him over this side, and the chairs are getting thrown over because his buddy is humming the chairs out of the way, trying to make a way.
Get
as
him
he's, like,
out. Yeah,
bashing them with his friggin' with his crutches. He's like hopping away. I'm like, look at him, like, what the fuck is going on? And like I turn and a bottle goes flying. I have this on camera. A bottle goes flying across the room. This guy looks, it bashes him in the side of the face. Dude, the sound that made, the guy didn't even go down. Like, he was like, he was like, but he didn't go down. Like, the bottles are getting thrown. This is getting thrown. And some girl is, God, what is she fucking screaming? There's this girl, she's screaming. She's like, no, get away from him. Get away. No, just please don't. And this whole group of, like, black dudes comes, like kind of runs out. Now you gotta understand, I'm the white boy just chilling on the side of the fence, way out of my freaking element. Like, I'm just chilling on the side of the fence, and I'm just like, I got my camera. I'm like, fuck this. Like, what the fuck is going on? So all these black dudes come running out, and one of them turns around. And he's like, and he said something. Like, the girl's screaming, like, please don't go, like, to whoever this brawl is going on this side. Like, I'm talking, like, the umbrellas are getting knocked over, the chairs are getting thrown, like, everything is crazy. The bouncers are climbing over the bar, like, it was insanity. And like, you just look at that and you're like, what the fuck do I do to help? Like, I came back to help and I'm just going to hold the camera because there's nothing I could do here. I don't even know who's my friend in this. And like, you know, we all were wearing the same shirts. I'm like, I hope they're not mad at us because I'm wearing that shirt. Like, you know.
Inside out, immediately.
Inside out. Like, so the black dudes come running out, and I guess the fight didn't even start because of our guys. So, okay, so this Puerto Rican chick screaming. Like, obviously I don't know their names, so I'm just going to describe them by nationality. She's screaming at him not to go. And he's like, fuck that, I'm coming right back. Like, whatever. All these black dudes run out. You gotta understand, I'm up on the fence. I'm holding on to the fence like this. And all these, like, this is almost 2 a.m. All these black guys are just running by me like a big group. And I'm just standing there. I'm like,
don't move.
I'm like, don't move. I hope I don't get seen in the street. Like, don't move. Like, they all run off into the parking lot of which I am parked. They all run out into that parking lot, and I'm sitting there, and like, this girl is screaming for, you need to get out of here. You need to get out of here. To some other guy, and he's like, fuck that. This all started because some bitch cheated on somebody, and she got caught at the bar, and that's what started this brawl. Well, here's the thing. I hopped down off the fence. I'm like, oh, good. Well, I'm glad things are calming down. I mean, there's still some brawl going on. I forgot a part. A little piece. So someone almost got shot in the face while I was on that fence, and that I also have on film. I was on there and I turned. Remember I said about the guy going like this?
Yeah, with the crutches.
So he's about here. On the other side of that, in the brawl area, it's so fast, it's so quick, and I never realized it when I was physically there because it happened so fast. I watched the footage later that night and I realized, holy shit, somebody almost got shot in the face. Because off in the corner, you see this one guy who has been shoved against the wall, and he's back against the wall, and he's like, I don't know, everybody's assaulting everybody. I mean, like, what? Yeah. It's like a mass. He pulls out a gun and he levels it at a guy. And some hand, this is all I can see on the footage, he levels it at a guy, and somebody grabs his wrist and slams his hand against the it's not a fence, but the
wall-ish.
Whatever, the wall.
Ish.
And it broke the grip and the gun falls. I never even realized that guy had a gun. And here's the thing. You're in a fucking brawl. There's people all around you going ballistic, and you level a gun at, so you're going to tell me he wasn't going to pull that trigger?
Right.
So the gun falls out of his hand. I never even knew it until I looked at the footage later that night. So now I'm the dipshit white boy over here. So I'm now at the corner because I'm like, holy shit, good thing like this stuff's calmed down a little. All right, let me make my way in here. There's a ruckus from the parking lot. All those black guys come running back in, guns drawn. I just froze. And they all come running back in. Like, I will literally never forget what that looked like. I think it was 5 black guys. They must have had that car loaded with all their guns and shit. They ran to get the guns, and they come running up. And I turn. I'm at the corner right where to walk in, and I still got the fucking camera running. I turn, and dude, like, they were running full tilt, and I look and I see black stuff in every single one of their hands. And I was like, Jesus fucking Christ. Like, I'm going to witness a murder. Like, all 4 of them run by me. Don't even pay attention to the white guy in the corner with the camera. Don't even pay attention to him. They all run by. Dude, it was one of the scariest moments of my life. I was like, what the fuck is going on right now? It was so surreal. It was so out of anything I had ever experienced, and I was young at this time. They all run into the bar, not the
mosh pit.
Not the mosh pit, which is still kind of had died down by that time.
A little less moshy.
A little less moshy. A little less moshy, a lot of bloody. They come running back, and they run into they go into the patio. I guess they don't find who they're looking for. They go into the bar. I'm sitting there. I literally slink back, and I hide behind a car like you did as a joke coming in. I hide behind a car because I'm thinking, like, I'm going to die tonight. I'm going to die, and I'm filming my death.
Yeah.
Because the thing is filming the whole damn time.
Yeah.
And all you hear is that girl screaming from the inside. And I'm sitting there, and I'm just like, fuck this shit. I gotta get out of here. Like, you hear me on the footage. I'm like, fuck this shit. Like, I like fucking beeline out, and then like, so I ran this way, and then like, just something in me, I was like, someone's gonna die tonight. Someone's going to die tonight. Like, I ran into the cop station instead. Now you gotta remember, I have no insurance. There was just a lot of like variables. Some of which
you're off the grid. Yeah.
A little bit. I was a little off the grid at the time. I run in, and I literally, like, there's a woman sitting there, and like, I ran in a frenzy. I was like, listen, miss, you guys got to get over to the bar. If there's a problem over there, you have to get over there. There's guns. Just go. And she's like, sit down. I'm like, nope, get over there. And I literally ran back out. Like, I'm sure I'm on their fucking footage, and they're like, fucking mugshot. Who is he? And I run back out of the police station. I get to my truck, and I'm like slinking, running through. I don't hear any gunshots. So to this day, I don't know what went on in that bar. Like, all I know, they all ran in, 4 or 5 black dudes with fucking guns drawn. This chick is screaming. I think the guy she was cheating on one of those guys with was the one that started this whole brawl, and then people got sucked into it. Then he ran into the bar, which is why they went in the bar, but somehow he got away because there were no shots fired. Like, they ran in, guns drawn, like, they're gonna kill this guy.
Right.
Like, and I sat there, I'm like, what am I doing with my life? So I go to try to leave. Can't leave. Why? Because the cops are now swarming out of the police station. Like, the cars are out, the fucking sirens, the car is still going woo, woo, woo. The one that originally got hit by the friggin' tree. The chair. Cops are out. Like the cops are coming out. The bikers are leaving. There's a guy with like 2 bikes in the back of his truck. He just drives over the curb like the bikes are bouncing, like fall over in the back of his truck. He's gone. I go to pull out. I start the truck. I go to pull out. My lights aren't on yet. They block the parking lot. And I'm like,
oh.
Yeah. I just literally.
Guess I'm staying here for the night.
Dude, I literally slink down. And all I can think of in my head is like, first off, I'm associated with all these people now.
I got the shirt on.
I got the shirt on.
I got my commemorative
I have no
tee.
insurance. I have enough strikes right now. I can't be doing this right now. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, and I'm holding all the incriminating evidence. And so, oh my God. So basically, eventually, the cops blocking the parking lot were apparently needed elsewhere, and they drove off like around the corner. I was just like, can I go?
Can I do this?
Can I get out of here? And I put the truck in drive. I leave the lights off and just coast.
Yeah.
No gas, no nothing, because all the cops were inside the bar at this point, and like standing guard and like what. And I just drive slowly away, and I'm like, am I good? And I drive away, and 2 streets, I'll never forget this. 2 streets over, I pass a guy who's sitting outside smoking a blunt on his porch. I'm like, that's 2 blocks away from what I just witnessed. That's crazy. Like, I'll never forget just being like, what a difference 2 blocks makes.
It's insane.
So then I'm driving on the highway, I don't know what to do with myself. Like, I literally am like, how can this play out and be okay? Like, because I'm thinking they went in there and shot this guy. Like, I may not have heard bullets because I thought, like, maybe my adrenaline was going. But I'm thinking in my head, like, I just witnessed people kill somebody. So I'm driving on the highway, and I end up next to the guy with the bikes that are all slammed over. And you know what his response is? He looks over. He's like, hey, pretty crazy shit, huh? I'm like...
What did you just say?
I'm like, yeah. You good? He's like, yeah. I head home, hit the sack.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay up for the next week.
Yeah, me too. I'm gonna go do that too. All right. So I get home. I'm pacing around. I call a buddy of mine who was at the bar, and I'm like, "Are you alive?" He's like, "Dude." And here's the thing. So there was the crew, and then there was me and my buddy who were there. My buddy and me were not. Whatever. We were separate, sort of, right? Okay. He's like, dude, I don't know what just happened. I gotta get to the hospital, but I don't quite know. I don't know what to make sense of what has just gone on tonight. I'm like, so we in? He's like, I don't think so. I'm like, yep. Okay, cool. So we get.
See you later.
So I get off the phone with him. Like, we talked for a while, but I get off the phone. He's like, does this shit happen all the time? I'm like, I don't know. This is the first time I've ever gone out in, like, what I thought was my childhood dream to be.
Oh, my God.
So then I get a call from one of them. And he's like, hey, man, crazy night, huh? How you doing? You get out all right? I'm like, yep. He's like, yeah, I'm still here. Do you know where I can score some drugs tonight? I'm like kind of like hyped. I just need a downer. I'm like, first off, I'm the wrong guy to ask for drugs, but like, you're a little hyped. Baseline's here. I'm right here. Yeah. And then I went riding with all of them the next day.
Oh my God.
That never happened again though. I've actually hung out with them like throughout.
I really think you need to make better life choices. That's just my opinion.
That's why this is what I'm trying to say. Like that this is my past. My past, I've got some stories from my past. That's what I'm trying to say.
Emphasis on past.
Yeah.
Emphasis on past.
I've learned.
Past.
I've grown.
I have grown.